Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well and having a good week. I was going to pop in today and talk a little bit about a typical homeschool day so you can have an idea of how the rhythm of a day runs. But after checking out some of the Facebook groups lately, excuse me, and I've been seeing some of the comments and things that people have been asking, especially new homeschoolers, I thought I would change the topic today to be talking more about, government curriculum plans and comparing school curriculum to homeschool curriculum. So we're going to talk about that instead today. Apparently I've got something in my throat. I apologize. Okay, so I've seen a lot of things like I'm looking for Ontario grade 2 curriculum, or I'm looking for a BC grade 4 curriculum. I've been seeing a lot of comments like that on Facebook and in various groups, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. So the purpose of having specific guidelines set by the government in each province is because if you have thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of students at specific age grades, you want to have some level of consistency to make sure that there's an easy way to evaluate that everyone's learning. Because you wouldn't want to have a student in grade 4 do one subject and then go to a different school and end up doing the same subject again in grade 5. So typically that is why the government does it. Plus it makes it easier for teachers to be able to share their work, to be able to grade their work, to be able to see how a student is doing on relative level. It's more of a guideline for school systems because they have large groups of children and they want to make sure that they don't, cross over, and they've kind of included as much as they can during that school time period. So the idea of having the government-based one is intended for classroom setting. So then the question is, as homeschoolers, do we need to follow that curriculum? And the short answer is no. Unless you've chosen a homeschooling method or a distance learning method that requires you to meet specific objectives based on those government-issued curriculum guidelines, you do not need to follow the government officially outcomes. Okay, now I do want to say something though. You will see a lot of people say, no, you don't need to do it, you can do your own thing, and that's cool, but you can if you want to. Okay, I just want to make sure you're clear on that. You can choose to follow the government curriculum outcomes if you want to. Okay, if you are short-term homeschooling and you know that this is just a 1-year gig or a 4-month gig or whatever you're going to be doing because of COVID, and you want to try and keep your child similar or on par to their peers so that you can put them back into the school system next year, it is more than valid for you to decide that you want to follow the curriculum guidelines. And that's okay. Even if you're choosing to homeschool long-term and you feel more comfortable using the government guidelines as a way to make sure that your child is on par because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, or you feel more comfortable with that, you can absolutely do that. The thing is, you don't have to though. Any learning can absolutely count in homeschooling. It's a completely different mindset than it is about following the school system. You can choose how and what you're going to teach your child. You can choose when you're going to teach specific things. You're not trying to teach a large group of children that you need to keep on par with each other. So you can choose what's available or what interests your child. You can choose what's based on your child's level instead. You can choose an approach that works best for you. You are not obligated to follow the school curriculum if you don't want to. Okay. Freedom is wonderful, but I know it's terrifying, especially if you've never done it before. You don't have, so if you feel more confident in doing, oh, my paper is stuck here. All right, but you can follow it if you want to. So I just will tell you a couple of tips. If you have decided that you have a child that you're keeping out for school this year and you feel like you would like to follow the government curriculum guidelines, you can. But be prepared that there is no specific, I need an Ontario grade 2 curriculum. And you would get a bundle package that shows up at your door that would meet all the needs for Ontario curriculum grade 2. And there's no bundle, as far as I know, for BC grade 4 where you can just go buy a package and it shows up at your door and it's ready to deliver all the grade 4 curriculum guidelines. You're going to have to be prepared that you need to mix and match based on what topics you want to cover. If you want to use the curriculum outcomes from the government, you need to take a look and see what is covered during the grade that you are trying to teach and then find resources that line up with that. It's going to take work. Anytime you choose to homeschool your child, it's going to take work to research which curriculum you're going to use. No matter whether you're choosing to follow the Ontario or the provincial, not the Ontario, but the government issue curriculum outlines, or whether you're choosing to do your own thing, it's going to take work. Even unschooling takes work. I know that doesn't make sense, but it does, because you are being a facilitator of your child's education. And so it takes some time to be able to include the things that help them develop their interests and to encourage the development of their interests. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that you can use the government outcomes, but you're going to have to be prepared to make it fit what you can find. I will attach a link at the end of here where I went through back in March, and I went through all the provincial guidelines to be able to see if I could find curriculum or resources that would help kind of match up as close as I could. I have them on my website. I have all the grade 1 through 8. I tried to provide as many resources as I could so that you could choose to find things that are available. Now, some of them are designed for classroom use, so they may have to be adapted a little bit for your homeschool use, but I did try to cover all the subjects like math and history and science and all those things, and the resources that are available for each one. So if that can help you as you're trying to put together your plan, you can absolutely use that. I'll add the link to this post as soon as I'm done. If you are willing to take the risk and do it yourself and have lots of freedom in your homeschool this year, which I know is scary if you've been in the public school system, the idea of doing your own thing can be pretty terrifying. But if you are interested in doing that, help is available. On my website, I actually have an entire blog post on how to plan your homeschool year so that you can figure out what you want to teach this year, how you want to teach this year, how your child learns, and then to find curriculum that meets all of your specifications for specific things, like if you want secular or Christian, or if you want to have Canadian or not Canadian, if you want to be able to have online, offline, those kinds of questions. It's all listed there to help you break it down. And then I talk about how to find curriculum that will match the needs that you have. The important thing to remember is that no matter what choice that you make, it is a valid one. I will not ever judge you because you choose to use the government curriculum outlines as your main guideline for the year. If you decide that you want to homeschool and you want to do it the way that the government suggests, go for it. If you've decided to homeschool and you want to do your own thing and you've decided to put together your plan for the year based on your own desires and your own interests, absolutely go for it. I'm here to help you however you want. Now, if you haven't yet, I invite you to join me over at the Facebook party that we're doing. I made a group just for my party because this is my 10th anniversary year, and in 2 weeks, and one of the weeks is actually going to be a planning week. And I know that seems a little bit late, but it's as best as I could fit it in. Okay, so the first week we're going to do a scavenger hunt, and then we're going to do a planning week where every day we'll take one chip of the planning path so that I can help you work towards figuring out what you're going to study this year. I hope that you are not feeling stressed, okay? Just take some breaths. Remember, we're approaching homeschool from no fear this year, no matter how you're coming at it, no matter what is being fed to you or what you're feeling. Don't let fear overwhelm you. We're just going to make sure that we have an awesome year. So, encouragement, don't panic. We got this. We'll talk to you tomorrow.